diversity, I think it's essential.
Biodiversity is the variety of life on Earth. It spans from genetic diversity through species diversity and all the way through ecosystem diversity. In the context of a farm, you can think of planned biodiversity and associated biodiversity. Planned biodiversity reflects deliberate choices by the farmer, by the land manager, someone working the land. So this can be what crops are planted in a given year. It can be what livestock you bring on. It can be whether or not you plant windbreaks or cover crops. So it can be decisions made daily, it can be decisions made annually, and it can reflect a long-term plan for the farm. In terms of associated biodiversity typically reflects the planned biodiversity that the farmer made. So associated biodiversity can include wildlife like birds, deer, squirrels, insects, can include plants. You can also think of it as some of the associated ecosystems that maybe aren't managed as part of the farms.
We have the dyes that students use in 2 of my classes. These dye plants are from all over the world, some of them from here in the United States, but many of them are from Europe. I'm also now growing a number of fiber plants, flax, cotton, and a new one for this year is Indian hemp. This is a plant that was used by the Cherokee to make their baskets. Another large part of the garden is the ethnobotany garden, and that takes up the majority of the space. I have a lot of plants that were used in medicinal ways that are represented from the southeast. Many people know the plants that are used in Europe for herbal medicine. And when people came from Europe to North America, they brought those plants with them. But there were a lot of plants here that the Native Americans used. And so that's what we're trying to show in this part of the garden.
I've really noticed a much higher diversity and abundance of bird species in gardens that are very diverse both with type of plant and the structure of the garden. While I've been visiting my 18 garden sites all across Greenville, I've noticed a really large diversity in those gardens. Some are just one plant the whole way across, such as a rose garden or something like that. Some are a little more diverse with a vegetable garden, and then some are more in a park setting with many trees and bushes and all sorts of different plants. So I've seen a really large range of types of gardens, and some of them are similar to this garden, and some are better as far as bird life, and some are not. So I'm really trying to take what I've noticed across these gardens and apply it here when I've been building my bird garden. So by a 3D structure, what we've really focused on doing are planting, first of all, plants of all sizes, including just perennials and larger shrubs, and then adding some larger structures such as the tripods that you can see behind me and the arbor, so birds have safe places to perch on. So what really we focused on is planting only native plants to South Carolina, because that has a really huge impact on the species of birds and diversity that you'll find in the garden, and creating a very diverse 3D structure for the garden so that the birds have an appealing environment for them to land and nest in.
I farm about 20-some acres. It's all woodland, timber. Well, we grow, I think, 12 kinds of fruit. And every type of fruit, I think I have 12 kinds of fruit, I have 120 varieties. If I grow a type of fruit, I want to be able to pick it, tree ripe or vine ripe, every day for as long a season as possible. Blackberry, I think I have 5 varieties that take me from June to August. Peaches, I have 30 varieties that take me from June 1st to September 15th. Apples, I have almost 30 varieties that take me from about 1st of August till Thanksgiving. I planted Red Delicious. Nobody really wants, my customers don't want Red Delicious. I planted stamens. I would say 40% or more of this orchard, and I'll show you, has been top grafted over to the new varieties. It cost me a long time, a lot of money, you know, and it's just now really coming back into production. So I tell people I'm constantly tuning my farm into the marketplace. And I didn't do enough homework when I started this on apple varieties. It cost me. Well, my largest crop is apples. As you could say, peaches and nectarines are next.
Okay, so here at the Furman Farm, the number of crops that we plant is really dependent upon the season because we plant our crops seasonally. In the summertime, we have a good, healthy, probably 18 to 25 different varieties of veggies that we can plant. And that's going to be everything from beans, cucumbers, onions, tomatoes, you know, and all of the summer favorites. As we get into the heat of the summer, there's things that do better than other things. And we play off of that a lot. And then the second part is we do crop rotation to the point of that's sort of like the science that's got to be in place. For instance, if we plant broccoli, which would be our heaviest nitrogen feeder in the winter, we make sure that we follow each one of those by something that could sort of complement or feed back into the soil, like beans or peas, which are nitrogen fixers that can actually compensate. And if we don't get to do that, we'll probably run it over with a cover crop, like hairy vetch or winter rye. And that way we're sure to keep a balance. So we can do it by row rotation, or we can do it by sectional rotation. But either way, we do rotate.
Like green beans and stuff, it's kind of like herbs. I don't know how familiar you are with them, but say for instance basil or parsley will last for 6 to 8 months, where cilantro and dill might only last a couple of months. These are the pigs that I told you about that would have just been weaned from their mom until they're old enough to withstand the elements. We have a lot of different breeds. We've got Berkshire, the black ones. We've got some Gloucesters. And so as you can see, the grass is in kind of like, it looks like the grass is in lines. Well, that's where we drill seeded it, and you can even see right here where it's kind of in lines.